No one has ever died from weed, but it's killed everyone in its own way.
Usually when you talk about drugs on YouTube, you gotta act like it all went down in GTA RP.
But I'm in LA, so I don't need that.
Marijuana, Aunt Mary, Mary Jane, pot, weed, butt, hash, ganja, and the list of reasons to send this video to Twitch streamers for a reaction is just as long.
The most popular drug in the world, aside from nicotine and alcohol, of course.
The US, Asia, Africa, Europe, damn, even Germany legalized weed.
This is literally the last place where the government is open to experiments. The last big experimenter they had, well, let's just say it didn't end up so great.
Meanwhile, in Russia, if you smoke weed, you're basically a dangerous junkie. And alcohol, oh, that's totally fine. But California is the icing on the cake.
Everything here is designed so you don't, God forbid, stay unstoned.
Just don't get high when you drive. You don't want to test your luck on this one. So if a cop asks if you've used any drugs in the last 24 hours, checking your watch is probably not the best idea.
Do you mind asking how old are you?
I'm 51.
49.
35. I am 5,796 hours.
26. Wait. 27.
I bet you smoke marijuana.
Yeah, I was born in 96.
Do you smoke it?
Yeah.
What you felt when it was legalized in 2018?
A sense of joy. I was very happy.
I feel good. I don't have to hide anymore. I just smoke my weed, blow it in the hair. I don't have to look for the cops.
I think it's bullshit because they're gonna tax us now.
Are you stoned right now? Are you stoned right now?
Yes.
But how did we get to a point where weed shops are on every corner?
Sorry if you are from a place where weed is still illegal. I didn't mean to hit a nerve. But seriously, it's like with dentists. 9 out of 10 experts say weed should be legal everywhere.
The last one probably couldn't answer because he didn't quite get the question. And if in the past cannabis research was suppressed,
Cause hey, why bother researching? What if it turns out to be actually beneficial?
and it was all part of the war on drugs. Now so many people are smoking weed that there is a real need to figure out how harmful it actually is.
After all, we know way less about weed than we do about nicotine or alcohol.
For example, how do we know how harmful it is in the long run? What's gonna happen in 15 or 20 years?
It all started with the fact that marijuana is great for pain relief. In some cases even better than opiates.
That's why they legalized medical marijuana first. And then, well, since it's right there, why not take a hit?
Although I bet many of you were hitting it way before it was even legal.
When was the first time you smoked marijuana? How old were you?
Before you're born.
11. 13.
13, way before it was legal.
Yeah, I smoke every day, all day long.
Are you stoned right now?
Fuck yeah! I'm stoned. Look, what does that say right there? Mary Jane, right?
Mary Jane.
And here's my wife right here. You see that?
How does it feel the first time? Well, chances are it won't even get you high.
It's all because your cannabinoid receptors are still virgin and just not ready yet. So the first times you're kind of just breaking them in.
After a puff, you will feel a strong burn in your throat, and you will immediately recognize the smell of weed, one you can't confuse with anything else, especially if there are no skunks in your area.
It's a slightly earthy, piney smell. Some people like it, some don't, but nobody stays indifferent.
Most of the time it kicks in before you even realize. You're deep in a conversation and suddenly, wait, what was I saying?
The blood vessels in your eyes dilate, causing them to turn red. But they are not just red, they are glassy.
Your pupils dilate too, letting in more light, so everything gets brighter.
You start blinking less, which causes your eyes to dry out and tear up. That's what causes the glare.
And that little smile of yours adds some flair and totally shuts down any pink eye theories.
Next, your salivary glands start working slower and you get really dry mouth. And what happens after that? Well, that depends on the strain you smoked.
Sativa is all about energy and activity. People usually smoke it during the day. Indica, on the other hand, chills you out, makes you feel relaxed and spaced out.
In short, the first one turns you into a go-getter, while the second makes you a chill dude.
And of course, there are hybrids. They combine the qualities of both strains.
How it hits you mainly depends on the THC level.
But weed also contains CBD. It doesn't really change your perception of reality. It just gives you that chill, relaxing feeling.
Since we are in a place where you don't have to risk your ass for a score of dope, how about we do some shopping?
The weed shops around America are known as dispensaries. And to spice things up, I decided to choose not just any dispensary, but the one with the lowest rating.
And here I am, standing by one of them. 1 out of 5 stars with a ton of reviews. That alone shows their customer service is not really a priority here. And one review even said the weed had fentanyl in it. Well, let's check it out.
Do you require ID to sell weed?
Yeah.
I just wanted to conduct some, shady business with you. Will fake ID work? I read on Yelp reviews of this place, and it says, like, your marijuana is laced with fentanyl. Can it be true?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not, yeah.
I guess in that case I gotta look elsewhere.
Just breathing the air near this shop in Russia would get you 5 years in prison. So let's go somewhere a bit more respectable. Ta-da-da-da-da, it's no motherfucker, the Bolavuji, Snoop Dogg.
Old buddy Snoop Dogg decriminalized weed for everyone long before it went mainstream. And this is his shop.
The name is basically the initials for smoke weed every day.
This place is like a true gastronomic paradise. Showcases, music, and the whole vibe.
We'll do the unpacking of the purchases and the prices for this stuff a bit later. But for now, let's jump straight to the good stuff. I will tell you the trip reports from 2 of my best friends.
Spoiler, their experiences were totally opposite. After smoking, the first one went to grab something to eat. At first, his sense of time changed. The elevator ride felt like it lasted half an hour. The whole time he was listening to music with his eyes closed. He felt like he was literally dissolving into the song, and goosebumps ran across his skin. So when the elevator doors opened, he stepped out in euphoria. Yeah, grocery shopping took longer than usual, but that supermarket pizza tasted like Michelin star cuisine. He walked down the road looking up at the sky. All his problems vanished, as if he were wrapped in a big warm blanket. Amazing thoughts about life, love, and the universe filled his mind. Sometimes he even stopped to write them down in his phone's notes.
He came home tired but happy. As for my other buddy, his night went off a little differently.
Within minutes of his first hit, he was already lost in his own hotel. For him, time didn't just slow down, it came to a full stop. He felt like the world was over and he was one of the few left standing, just like in Interstellar.
Worth mentioning that this dude was a huge fan of getting lost in movies and TV shows.
At some point, he looked down over the railing and his fear of heights blended with the scene from Asylum, which he just watched. This idea took over, and suddenly he felt like he was stuck forever. He wanted to text his friend, but even typing on his phone felt impossible. The words kept slipping away and he kept losing track of his thoughts.
And yet they smoked the exact same weed. Where will your take you? That's the roll of the dice. As the saying goes, you will never know if you don't try. What's more, you could even catch a hyper-focus and came up with some new unexpected ideas that might even work. But the pale dude will tell you more about that later.
If you start typing in Google, has anyone died from, the top suggestion will be weed. The second one, periods.
So I guess now you understand what's relevant and what people care about.
Clicking the link, your heart jumps. Turns out there really was a case. But then you exhale in relief. It was just an 11-month-old baby. First reaction, newbie.
Jokes aside, turned out his parents were heavy on weed.
But after digging a little deeper, I finally found an article saying the death wasn't actually proven. And yeah, the kid had an insane amount of THC in his blood.
It's like blaming spicy food for killing you when you chucked a bottle of Tabasco and then got hit by a car.
Still, they do recommend keeping weed away from toddlers. Basically, weed is one of the only substances you literally can't overdose on.
Cannabinoid receptors have a limit, and after a certain dose, they'll be like, alright dude, we are done for today. And basically, your body will stop reacting to weed.
Whether you smoke or not, it won't make the effect stronger. With other drugs, there is no such limit, as proven by the well-known American researcher Lil Peep. A trip usually takes about 2 or 3 hours. So what's the best way to pass the time? You don't really need to be high to veg out on Netflix and munch on junk food. But hitting the gym? Yeah, good luck getting yourself to do that sober.
It turns out that if you block cannabinoid receptors, you stop feeling pleasure from running and other activities.
That means when we get that second wind and feel euphoria, our body is dosing us with its own version of THC.
So in a way you have already had a trial preview version of marijuana, even if you have never smoked it.
Of course, not everyone wants to run that much just to feel the effect. So why not take a shortcut?
And what about sports? How often do you exercise?
I love to exercise. I exercise probably every day, and I love to do it just a little bit high sometimes. Just a little tiny, you know? And then it actually opens up my lungs more, my bronchos, so I feel a little bit more energized and I get a little lost, and then I can just, I guess, exercise a little bit harder.
But for some, that's not enough. Some are chasing higher goals. Some are looking to boost their creativity.
THC shuts down the filter of your consciousness.
Even if you don't realize it, we all have self-censorship. Well, creativity is a tricky thing. There is a good chance that when you are sober, you will look at your genius ideas from when you were high and just want to delete them all ASAP.
Weed doesn't make you more creative. Yeah, it unlocks it, but also warps it.
Do you feel that marijuana enhances your creative abilities?
No. No. It's all weird in here. I don't need marijuana to...
What do you do for a living?
State hospital where the mental people are, I'm a drug counselor there.
And you do that when you're stoned?
No. I work, I gotta go sober, but after work I smoke.
But sometimes you
Yeah, for
might
lunch, once in a while I like go back to work and I'm like,
I'm an actor.
Oh, you're an actor. And like, do you smoke sometime to enhance your acting skills?
No, I stay sober during that. Yeah, because there's a lot of money on the line.
I'm a chemistry student.
Chemistry student? So you cannot do not only marijuana, you know?
Oh yeah, I know. LSD too is awesome.
I'm a real estate.
Real estate. So you do that when you are stoned?
It enhances the way I talk. Yeah, it helps me become a better salesperson.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an accountant.
Okay. And how often do you smoke?
Every day, all day.
Are
I
you-
work from home.
Are you good with numbers when you are stoned?
Yes, I'm the best at it when I'm
Every time I come up with something high, it just it's not as good the morning after.
And after productive work, it's time to recharge.
Pros, thanks to THC, you will fall asleep super fast. Cons, in the long term, you won't be able to sleep without it. And now tell me, when was the last time you had a dream?
If you smoke regularly, I think you've probably forgotten what dreaming is like.
We dream during the so-called REM phase, and marijuana carefully suppresses that. Your dreams become either fragmented or you don't remember them at all.
And like you can probably guess, skipping one of the 4 sleep phases is not just about missing your late-night cartoons.
Without it, you will always feel drained. Your memory and learning will take a hit, and you will be super cranky, with no control over your emotions.
But surprise, surprise, a lot of people use weed to fix their sleep issues.
It takes some serious skill to throw weed into any field it doesn't even fit in.
And yeah, all this weed love is bound to lead to tolerance sooner or later.
There is a magazine called Addiction, and yeah, the name's pretty on point. It claims that there are millions more daily weed smokers than daily drinkers.
And it's actually pretty simple. Casual smokers are not the real customers. But hardcore weed lovers, they absolutely are.
Just think about it. Those who smoke over 25 times a month make up 2/3 of all weed consumption in the state. And for these regulars, you bet tolerance is a thing.
And here we subtly but inevitably come to a question that many try to avoid, or at least not to think about it.
Marijuana doesn't cause addiction. Bet you've heard that one before.
I don't like to bore people with numbers in my videos, but they tell a different story.
9% of folks who try weed actually get hooked.
It seems like, yeah, so what? Just 9%.
Meanwhile, 15% of people get addicted to cocaine and 24% to heroin. Plus, every time you use, the chance of addiction goes up. And yeah, it hits quicker with cocaine than marijuana. But let's be honest, the difference between 9 and 15% is not that huge.
So yeah, the odds of getting hooked are low, but far from zero. And the situation gets even more interesting with teens.
If you started smoking weed as a teenager, the chances jump to 17%. That means 1 in 6 will end up hooked on weed.
Weed and teenagers under 20 is a whole separate topic, which we'll get back to later. In the meantime, here is a survey.
When was the first time you tried marijuana?
13 or 12.
Like 12 or 13.
I was a teenager for sure.
Well, let's just say
I think it was 16.
It was 19.
I was in Vietnam.
I want to say, man, maybe like 13.
And to be specific, what age were you?
I've been smoking like for a good minute since I was like 11 and I haven't took no breaks.
I was 1 year of age when I started smoking the Mary Joanna.
So your mother like... And how often do you smoke?
I lost track.
I'm not a pothead, like occasionally, not even daily, like maybe like 4 or 5 times a week.
I smoke every day. Like there's not one day I go without not smoking. Like it's either I smoke wax, weed, whatever, but I smoke something, you know?
I have a good balance with it. It's usually after I'm done with everything that I need to do, so I smoke responsibly.
Not as often as I used to. It lost its fun after a while.
Do you have kids?
I do, yeah. I'm a grandma.
Yeah, I got those two right there, and then I got an older one, 15, all girls.
Yes.
Do they smoke?
Yes.
Smoking?
Oh yeah, they do.
No, hell no, not yet, man. Fuck, I hope not.
And what do you think about that?
I'm happy they smoke marijuana, not cigarettes.
I just told them to do, to think about the consequences, like, with work and where it's legal or not legal. So, it's not about partaking or not partaking. It's about how you do it in a way that works for you and not against you.
When do you think they're gonna try it? Or
I think, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what? I always was a fan of you see it so you don't do it. So, like, my dad was a drinker, so I don't drink.
My mother was like, bitch, light up the blunt because I want to hit it too.
you're not a big fan of she's smoking, I can see that.
Yeah, because in high school, like, we don't know what we're doing. We think we do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing.
I see. Any other drugs you're doing?
Well, let's say you've gotten hooked. The real question is, how tough is it to quit?
Obviously, it's way easier than heroin. But still, thousands of people try to quit marijuana and they just can't.
They post videos tracking their sobriety day by day, begging Reddit for help and constantly pushing each other not to cave.
As you probably know, one of the most common side effects of smoking weed is memory problems, especially when it comes to remembering new things.
So maybe those who quit just forget about that.
And yes, withdrawal from marijuana does happen, despite what people think.
It's a mix of being super irritable, apathetic, and just drained. You won't forget that for sure.
Yeah, coffee can get you hooked too, and if you try to quit it, you will feel withdrawal as well.
But as you can see from the graph, quitting weed is just about as hard as quitting nicotine. People simply lose motivation. Sure, weed doesn't blow everything up the way heroin does, but it's like the colors in their life just fade.
So with its low cost, social acceptability and milder consequences, weed brings up this question.
Why even quit? Why put yourself through all that?
Okay, let's not dwell on the bad stuff. Let me show you what I got from Snoop Dogg and break down some 420 slang for you. Ta-da!
Weed, hash, bud, for many, it's all just different names for the same high.
But in fact, they are not the same thing.
The real OG is the bud, those fluffy nuggets packed with all the juice. They smack the hardest, which is why they get all the love, even in rap lyrics.
I paid $80 for 3.5 grams, but I got the most expensive one. Could have snagged some for just $20, like this. Now that's a nice little joint I got here.
Straight up weed in a hand roll, nothing fancy.
Most likely it's gonna mess you up.
You either turn into a total couch potato for a while, or catch a panic attack, if you even manage to smoke it all. If you swap out some of the weed for tobacco, it becomes a spliff.
The taste here will be milder. After all, weed ain't exactly the cherry on top. There is nothing tasty about it.
The third type is a blunt. It's like a cigar, but with weed instead of tobacco.
It's rolled with a tobacco leaf, which means it burns slower. Also, I grabbed some kiff. It's a cannabis concentrate made of tiny resin crystal.
You can add it to a joint and forget your name. Guess that's why Chief Keef picked that exact nickname. Dude can't even recall his real name anymore. And some cool facts for you.
Everybody's heard of 420. It's the slang term for the whole weed culture.
But there is also 710. It's oil flipped backward, and oil is literally the cannabis concentrate.
And then you might come across 920. It's a hidden code for psychedelics.
No big mystery here. It's just September, the month when you pick mushrooms.
And by the way, you can not only smoke weed, but also eat it.
The food made with marijuana is called edibles.
For me, it's these gummies. And edibles actually are best for those using marijuana for medical purposes, because you won't be coughing and worrying about burning your lungs and throat.
If buds only last 2 or 3 hours, the THC in a brownie gets turned into a much stronger compound by your liver, up to 4 times more powerful than regular THC, and it will keep you going for about 6 hours. But edibles have a bad reputation, because what's someone eating a muffin not taking into account? Well, first of all, this guy is very impatient and wants the fun to start right away.
And if he had stopped for a moment and thought, he would have recalled that any drug you swallow takes way longer to kick in than when you smoke it.
So 30 minutes go by and you grab another muffin, then another and another one after that.
And now it's like a huge line in the Chinese subway. THC from the 3 last edibles is gonna catch up with you real soon.
What does it feel like?
Let's put it this way. After edibles, a lot of people swear off weed forever. They say it doesn't even feel like regular high, more like a psychedelic trip, and not the fun kind. Remember when I mentioned that teens get hooked on weed more easily?
When your brain is still forming, and that goes on until you're 25, and you mess with psychoactive stuff, you could create a real Frankenstein.
If you are 14, just a couple of times is enough to boost the gray matter in some areas of your brain. And the younger you are, the less it takes to mess it up.
Some might be like, sweet, big brain unlocked.
But bigger doesn't always mean better. Just like that extra chromosome of yours.
Yeah, your gray matter is getting bigger, but in the part that's in charge of anxiety. Weed will mess with your short-term memory and logical thinking. It will be slow and sneaky, bit by bit. But one day you won't like the person staring back at you in the mirror.
And that's the best you can hope for. In the worst case, you could end up like this guy.
His name was Randy, and he tried weed for the first time when he was 15. It helped him chill out and stop feeling so anxious.
It didn't really mess with his life. Same as for thousands of other Americans.
So he got into college and even managed to juggle 2 jobs. He also made vlogs, always holding a joint in it.
Then something went wrong.
First thing, he started saying he wanted to be a rapper.
That was a red flag. But then he started freaking out.
He even tried to quit. Spoiler, didn't happen. He started making first day of sober videos, but he didn't get very far.
Then he got fired and blamed his neighbor for stalking him. And one night after smoking weed, he got so paranoid that he ran out into a snowstorm and was missing for 24 hours.
His parents didn't even recognize him anymore. The person they knew was completely gone. But one day he wrote his mom a touching letter, saying he was done with smoking and music.
His mom responded, "Life is tough, but it's never too late to start fresh. And today is a new start."
You've probably guessed it wasn't a fresh start, but the end. The cops found him shot.
Of course it is very tragical. But my cynical follower would be like, come on, go through his stuff once again and you will find not just marijuana, but amphetamine as well. But here is the thing. You need to have a predisposition to mental illness. That's when weed can make it worse.
Randy had that predisposition, and whether you have it or not, you won't know until it's too late.
But even without mental illness, getting hooked on marijuana tends to happen this way.
You start smoking to chill after work or school. Weed makes dull stuff fun and takes things you already love to the whole new level.
But after a while, your ambitions just seem to vanish.
You start smoking before and after work. Eventually, you figure out you can't make it through the day without it. You don't take on any task without smoking first, because without it, it all feels super boring and even impossible.
And then a genius idea pops into your head. Why bother doing anything and ruin the vibe? So now you're just smoking, until you decide to try something stronger.
The most controversial question: can weed be a gateway to harder drugs?
Honey, I'm always saying yes to the drugs, and I am an open book when it comes to the drugs.
Well, what's your favorite drug?
Jesus, meditation, the Lord, that's my favorite drug.
MDMA, LSD, marijuana.
I put it this way. It's not a trampoline, but a small, barely noticeable downhill slide that eventually potentially lands you in something worse. Oh yeah, easily. Sure, it might not take you that far, but if you've decided to try something psychoactive, it already says a lot about you as a person, someone open to experiments.
Wait a minute, I smoked and I'm fine. So what else did they lie about? And next thing you know, you are way more down to try something else.
I'll give you an example. I've met a lot of people who've never tried weed, LSD or MDMA. But oddly enough, for those who have tried either LSD or MDMA, they never saw them as their first drug.
Nobody just jumps into that without first understanding how mind-altering stuff works. Weed is like a beginner's guide to substances, a little test drive. And yeah, most people actually enjoy the ride.
Of course, these people didn't go as far as heroin. But again, I'm talking about the ones I know personally. And just because I've never seen a giraffe, it doesn't mean it's not out there, right? At the end of the day, we are all just looking for a way to make life suck a little less. But the truth is, if your life already sucks, drugs will only make it worse. So first you grind and upgrade your life, and only after maybe you can indulge a little.
Everything comes at a cost, and you always have to pay up. And when the time comes, you might find out it was way too much.
But who cares if you can delay the payment? And yeah, your brain might eventually turn into a sponge, but the key is not today. What we were discussing?